Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture, and in the words of Joel Santana, I am flyer than an ostrich, because ostriches, they can't fly, can they? So.
Don't forget, by the way, if you want this news whilst you're out and about on the go, you can also download it as a podcast. All you need to do is search for WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. But coming up today, the real reason WWE keep cancelling house shows.
Bill Goldberg shoots on The Undertaker, well, his match with The Undertaker.
Big news about the AEW Women's Championship.
And a major spoiler from NXT tapings.
This is the news.
And we are going to start things off with a little talk, a little chit-chat about Zigglypuff, Dolph Ziggler. He hasn't had a good kayfabe week, has he?
A man who doesn't know when he's beaten.
Got the absolute piss beaten out of him at SummerSlam again and again by big bloody Bill Goldberg. And then he got battered again by The Miz on Raw. It wasn't a good...
He hit him with the skull-crushing finale as he was still talking, which made me laugh.
It just took him out of the game. Hasn't been a good week for him in terms of kayfabe. And it hasn't been a good week for him behind the scenes either, because we have a new report from Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net that suggests that Vince McMahon has actually gone back on a promise to let Dolph go to pursue outside interests.
Hang on. Vince McMahon goes back on his word, pretends to be shocked to give.
If you can believe that, it's apparently happened. This is according to the report. Vince had previously offered Dolph a handshake agreement. They'd shaken hands and everything was fine, stating that after SummerSlam, Ziggler would be allowed to leave. He'd be allowed to move on. He'd be allowed to go and pursue stand-up comedy or Pokemon, whatever he wants to do when he eventually walks away from this business. But Dolph ended up approaching Vince on the last week's Raw, as a thank you. He was going to say, thanks man, I really appreciate this. And Vince went, you know what? Nah, I'd rather pay you to just sit at home and do nothing. So that's nice. Thanks, Vince.
We moan about, Ziggler sometimes when it comes to WWE, and that, partially is down to WWE as well in terms of the way that they book him and push him and utilize him. This, I just feel really, really sorry for him, because,
I feel a bit bad.
It's not like he's wanting to leave and go and work for another wrestling promotion. I mean, he may do, but the general consensus, the thing that I assumed when you told me about this, is that, yeah, he wants to go off, do stand-up, do just something more in an entertainment sphere, let's say, and he agreed all that. He said, look, I'll let Goldberg spear me out of my bloody shoes 3 times. I'll put people over on the way out. I'll make Miz look great on that. And then he's gone, nah, stay at home and not be allowed to do the one thing that you love aside from wrestling.
Yeah, it's what they tried to do to Rhino before he just let his contract expire and went off to TNA. Impact. TNA, it hasn't been that in like 2 years.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think perhaps maybe they feel a little bit burned by John Moxley, when he was leaving WWE.
But that's not Ziggler's fault, is it?
No, it's not Ziggler's fault at all, but the company are probably like, well, this guy, he told us he wasn't going to sign anywhere or whatever the situation was, and then he immediately debuted for AEW and New Japan and all this stuff. I mean, that's WWE's fault for being dumb enough to believe it, and it's really quite harsh of them to kind of hold this guy, but if he signed this big contract last year, apparently, he's kind of beholden to it. At the same time, it's probably not a good thing for a locker room that's been pretty unruly this year.
Yeah, also not good to be punishing current guys for a previous guy's discretions or whatever. I'm really not best pleased about this. I think it's a dick move. And yes, all right, it wasn't signed, sealed, delivered like it was his contract, but it's a handshake deal with the boss. You'd think that'd be watertight. Well, you would if you knew nothing about Vince McMahon, I suppose.
Have some integrity,
But anyway, more about his shenanigans to tell you about now, because per Dave Meltzer, WWE, of course, cancelled 5 August house shows, including those ones Kane were meant to be appearing on. Apparently, a real reason that happened was not because of scheduling issues or anything like that, but just because of low advances, low early ticket sales, and so they cancelled them to try and balance out the average so that investors don't question attendance drops. I mean, they'll notice that you're not putting on shows. It's not like you can just go, and in this month we did so many house show ticket sales. Excuse me, how many shows did you do? We did one.
Yeah.
Like, this is nonsense.
It's complete too. They're sitting there in their boardroom going, well, average attendance can't drop if there's no shows.
This is like, we've seen them do this before with the network, where they go, yep, less people watched, but the people who watched it for 9 whole hours.
Yeah, that's because the show is 5 days long.
Like, it's just madness. I mean, what are they going to do next? Say, right, okay, we are putting on house shows, but we're putting them on in a room, and so we can say, it had 100% attendance in the 4 chairs that we put out.
It's WWE business to a nutshell, trying to get the most from as little as possible. And I don't see how any smart investor can look at this and not see what the hell's going on.
Like, how stupid do you have to be an investor and just to believe this nonsense?
Like, oh, okay, looks like the attendance has actually gone up.
Like, between our 2 shows, Saudi Arabia and WrestleMania, our average attendance is 80,000.
Sounds amazing. And you know what else sounds amazing?
Go on.
Goldberg and stuff.
Shoot season, still going, baby.
Goldberg has been on the Hall of Fame show on ESPN 97.5 with Booker T and Brad Gilmore. Not a very snappy title, that, is it?
No.
So this is the news. Big interview, talked openly about the match with The Undertaker at Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, that match went south when Goldberg hit his head on the ring post, got concussed. It was kind of a mess after that, unfortunately. Critically panned. He became kind of this figure of ridicule afterwards. And it was just kind of horrible to watch, really.
Not good.
But he's spoken about it. He's been very candid. He's kind of shot on it, in fact, and said it was a perfect storm of crappiness. He has a few reasons for this. He said that for his previous run, when he was having these 1-minute matches against like Brock Lesnar and all these other dudes, Kevin Owens, he wasn't so much focused on cardio as just bulking up, and that was a lot easier for his 52-year-old frame. But because this was like an 8-9 minute match, he had to work out harder, he had to drop some weight, he had to do more cardio and stuff, and that really wore him down, so he wasn't in the best condition coming into it. Even though physically, he looked amazing for a 52-year-old guy. He acknowledged the ring post spot and said that 50% of the time that goes really well for him. 50% is not a high hit rate.
What? I was going to say, what do you mean 50%?
I know if you said like 99%, fair enough.
You either hit the post or you don't, Bill.
Yeah, maybe Bill's got his numbers mixed up a little bit there. But he also said that, he was quite frank. He said, I've never tried to be an entertainer on the same level as like a Ric Flair, and that sometimes circumstances are such that he just goes a little overboard. So, good for Bill, man. Like, he could have come out and taken the Seth Rollins approach and just been really defensive and gone, actually, it was the best match in WWE. Burn it down. Yeah, burn it down.
It's all part of it. We deliberately made the match crap.
But no, I like that. I like that honesty from Goldberg, and the Gold Dust and the Ziggler match. I loved it at SummerSlam. So good for him.
Yeah, I think that's what you want from your wrestlers, isn't it? Just open and honest. Hold your hands up. Look, yeah, it was a crap match. Here's a partial justification for it, but in reality, I screwed up. I apologise, and like you say, recovered from it incredibly with that tag match with Roman Reigns. And yeah, him just destroying Dolph Ziggler was a joy to watch, and has immediately changed me from do we need to see any more Goldberg to the story we reported a while back about him being used every sort of half a year to run through some goober. Good stuff.
Badass old man.
Right, let's talk about AEW now. The TV show is fast approaching for them, and they've announced that their vacant Women's Championship is going to be defended on the 16th of October TV taping. Now, of course, it's going to be the first ever AEW Women's Champion, which is going to be Britt Baker, by the way, is going to be crowned on the 2nd of October. That Britt Baker bit wasn't official, I'm just anticipating that. And yes, then 2 weeks later on TV, they are going to defend it. They're booking this title already a lot better than WWE booked theirs.
Yeah, they've already planned 2 matches ahead of time, and they don't even have a goddamn champion yet. So interesting stuff. Obviously, they've got the Casino Battle Royal to determine one person who will fight for the belt. That's going to be on All Out at the end of the month. They haven't determined how the second participant will be defended. But if it's anything like Double or Nothing, the Casino Battle Royal, then we had Omega versus Jericho. We'll maybe have a singles match. Maybe Baker, if that concussion has healed, versus another big name from a women's division. Maybe Kylie Ray, someone like that. Either way, love what they're doing with this so far. Love that they're advertising matches in advance. Let's hope they don't go down the WWE route of not actually ever delivering on any matches that they advertise in advance.
And also, don't go into the comment section now and say, who are you praising AEW? You know, yeah, we're just excited and anticipating something good for them. You know, like, we are going to, if they screw up, we'll criticize them as well.
Imagine like being excited about something. It's weird, that, isn't it? Right, the next story we have here is a major spoiler from last night's NXT taping. So, what we're going to do here is, in just a second, I'm going to ask you, if you want to avoid this spoiler, to just mute your audio. We won't have any images of what we're about to talk about on the screen, so you can completely avoid them. We'll give you a little countdown here.
I'll set a timer on my phone as well for 1 minute. We'll wrap up talking about this story in 1 minute.
And then once we're done, me and Wilborn will do some mad stuff with our hands. And
I'll dab.
Yeah, and you'll know you can put the audio back on. So, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, spoiler time! Okay, so last night's set of NXT TV tapings at Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida. New champions were crowned, new tag team champions in the last match on the show. Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Undisputed Era became 3-time tag team champions by beating the Street Profits. So, disappointing. For me, I love the Street Profits, however, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly are pretty damn awesome at the same time. This set of tapings also set off a few directions for other title holders ahead of War Games, perhaps. We had Rhea Ripley stepping up as a challenger for Shayna Baszler, which sounds really interesting. Yeah. Johnny Gargano got into it with Shane Thorne, of all people. Let's see how that goes down. No clear direction yet for Adam Cole. You'd imagine that perhaps, with Roddy Strong still feuding with Velveteen Dream, they'll maybe have Undisputed Era versus Velveteen Dream, some other people in War Games. Either way, spoilers.
There you go. 3 seconds left. Good work.
Hey, we've done it. And now we can do...
Come back!
Come back! Are you back, Dab?
Wow, can't believe William Regal got his dick out on NXT. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, if you want to get in touch and let us know what questions you want us to answer, as my phone slowly wakes up. There we go. Let's move on to the first question from Bryant Nungaray, who says, should Brock Lesnar transition to a prize fighter role now that he's out of the title picture, as far as we know, where top-tier wrestlers who aren't in the title program aim to defeat Brock in a Big 4 pay-per-view?
Hell yeah, 100% up for that. 100% up for that. Special attraction all the way. Gives you a marketable match beyond like the mainline title program that you can promote, because it's Brock. Brock is awesome. He's one of the biggest names in the company. He still gets my attention every time he does stuff. I am all for that. Yeah,
I mean, there's been people in the past, Triple H, who believe they are akin to a title match, but Brock Lesnar is that. He is a prize. He is a mountain to be climbed. And yeah, I mean, we saw when they just went, sod it, we'll just do Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton a couple of years ago at SummerSlam, not in the match itself, but in the build, that is more than enough. And, you know, yeah, you could have 3 huge matches in terms of WWE Championship, Universal Championship, and just who can beat Brock.
Exactly.
Right, let's move on to the second question today. Comes from Nate. Talks about The Fiend. He says, The Fiend versus The Undertaker, or The Fiend teaming up with The Undertaker?
Woo! 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 I don't want to see The Fiend actually team up with anyone ever. I want him to be just this rogue force of chaos that exists in his own little sphere and just never loses and never cooperates, and it's just awesome. Kills people. So yeah, let him beat up The Undertaker.
I'd have him. I mean, I pitched this before when we were discussing the future for Bray Wyatt and the Fiend character a while back. I think he should run through all the people he had bad matches against, so, or just lost against. So the Fiend versus Randy Orton, the Fiend versus John Cena, and the Fiend versus Taker.
Kane.
Possibly, no, we're all right for that one. Yeah. Possibly that could be it. That might be the official. I know we've talked about this a million times, but that could be the passing of the torch. I mean, we talk about what character is good enough now to officially end The Undertaker. Right now, it's The Fiend.
It is The Fiend.
Although I do love what takes me recently.
Yeah,
so first time in ages.
Love the Graveyard Dogs, tag team of the year.
Right, let's move on to the final question today. Comes from Sean Acklin, who says, who could possibly build up to be the next WWE UK champion besides Tyler Bate? After Ono beat Dragunov, oh no, I'm losing faith that we'll see many different champions holding that belt.
Yeah, it's a tough one, because for me, the guys on that brand, or who could be associated with that brand with the most obvious star power, are the British Strong Style trio there, and Walter, obviously. Beneath that, I think you're looking at guys like Jordan Devlin, who I think would be a really good shout. Much improved over the past few years. Tremendous work in OTT. Hasn't really had an opportunity to show that yet in NXT UK to the same level. But for me, put the trust in him, build him up, let him develop his character a little bit, let him have a few more banger matches on TV and takeover specials, he's the guy.
Yeah, I think Jordan Devlin is the pick, and if you need any more convincing about what you can do to build him up for a title feud, there's a fantastic promo. It might be OTT. Whoever it is with, go and search it. Jordan Devlin versus David Starr promo. It's about 8 minutes long, and it is simply phenomenal, and it will guaranteed get you excited about seeing Jordan Devlin, hopefully eventually being built up and built up and built up to take on Walter. Whether he beats him, I don't know.
OTT did another one for one of Devlin's matches with Walter, where he's like running around, and he's like doing like Rocky training and stuff, going up steps and like running along the coast. And he finally gets to this cliff face, and then suddenly coming out of the water, there's this massive Walter just going. It's really weird, but you should check it out. It's great.
Right, let's move on to today's and finally.
We got two of them, one each. So
one each.
Pay attention.
I've got to give thank you to my esteemed colleague Phil Chambers for sending me this last night. I looked at my phone, and I had about 5 messages from Phil saying, I've got your and finally, it's the best thing ever. And I've got to also give thanks to our fellow colleague, Simon Miller, who shared this photo on Instagram last night. Wow. Throwback Thursday to when he was a child and clearly about to perform some cheesy stand-up set or open for MC Hammer.
Woo! That's absolutely quality. That, to be fair, like you could get away with wearing that kind of tracksuit in 2019, like at the back.
I'm still not going to say he looks stupid because he's Simon Miller and he could snap me in half.
Yeah, he would eat both of us.
I'm sure. Yeah, he's gonna have words with his parents about that outfit they put him in. Questionable.
Is this a new gimmick? Embarrass our fellow co-hosts?
I mean, let's not. People in glass houses.
Yeah. I mean, we got a blooper reel yesterday, brother. Our second and finally of the day, and yesterday we were fortunate enough to see a nice little package in the mail here.
Has someone sent us some drugs again?
It looks like it, doesn't it? All the way from Canada, I believe. So thank you very much to Richard. Unfortunately, I can't make out your surname there, brother, but it's from Richard, who has sent us some bad wrestling action figures.
Yes, add them to the collection.
We have 4 of these puppies, and they are something else. First of all, here, we've got this...
These are the ones that people have been sending me photos of, and I'm like, they can't look that bad.
I don't know if this will work, but here's Roman Reigns. It's all blurry and stuff. Doesn't matter. Looks more like goddamn Mick Foley.
It does.
I'll tell you what, I'll take some pictures of these and Ben Roy can edit them in. We've got Brock Lesnar. Who looks like a cross between Alex...
Brock, what's happened to your bottom half?
I know, why is he so dumpy? Look at his arms as well. Look at the side, it's James Hunt-esque. He looks like...
Jesus.
He looks like if Alexander Wolf cleaned up and had a bit of a wash. That's that action figure. Another one here, John Cena. Which is... I've never seen him wearing brown jorts, but never mind. Sorry. And our last one of the day, who do you think it is?
Taker?
It is!
Yeah, the dead man.
Look at how puzzled he looks.
How big are his hands?
I'm good to miss you.
I just realised how big John Cena's hands are.
Anyway.
Suplex City, bitch.
Thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
I think you're from Canada. Yes, post-Canada. Thank you so much, Richard. Please give us a little tweet at Andy H. Murray, at Adam Wilborn, at WhatCulture WWE, and we will show our gratitude there as well.
Sorted. I'm going to be playing with them.
Are brilliant. And the best thing about these, you can't see this, so it's a bit useless. They don't even stand up properly. Look at that. Wobbly as. Anyway.
Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you can send us Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Whilst you're there, follow both of us. You can follow him at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Hovis. Love them cars.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. You can follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. And make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. My thanks to Richard for those lovely presents. Thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching. And we will see you soon.
Thank you, Richard Pictures.